Welcome to this morning, this day, and this opportunity to be together in community, which is a time of joy, comfort, and sometimes challenges. This Unitarian Universalist congregation is a place where we come to learn more about being human. We're not here because we figured out life's questions or because we think we've got it right. We come here to learn more about being in relationship together, how to listen, how to forgive, how to be vulnerable, and how to create trust and compassion in one another. Let us move into our service, willing to be authentic with each other, honest within ourselves, and open to connection in all its forms. We light our flaming chalice with words from Sharon Wiley. This day before the solstice, in honor of ancient traditions that celebrate this time of longest night, we observe the flaming chalice holds the elements of the four directions: earth, air, fire, water, the lamp oil for earth, the air that feeds the flame, the fire we light. And the chalice itself, the cup, the symbol of water. We light our chalice and reflect on the light we need to guide us through hard times, the light of our shared faith, the light of loving community, the light of love, joy, and hope. And we follow All Souls' tradition of lighting a green candle, symbolic of our commitment to being a green sanctuary congregation. May both these flames call us to kinship with and great care for the earth and her living creatures. As we center our hearts, let's sing our chalice song for December. In the quiet and the stillness of the morning, there's sheet music for this beautiful piece in your order of service.
In the quiet and the stillness of the morning, in the quiet and the stillness of the day, in this quiet holy place, I find blessed peace within. In the quiet and the stillness of the morning.
This morning marks the fourth Sunday in the season of Advent in the Christian tradition. Each week until Christmas, we have been lighting a new candle on the Advent wreath, symbols of hope, peace, joy, and love. As the season reaches its completion, we prepare for new life to dawn. Our hearts soften and our arms open to embrace its brightness. This morning, we light the fourth candle. We light this candle as a reminder that there is no greater power in the world than love. Through this community, we can become a blessing to one another. Our love is magnified and lives are changed. We can hardly wait any longer for the wonder of love to be revealed. May we risk enough to become vulnerable and welcome holy tenderness.
Our opening words this morning are from the Reverend Rebecca Parker, called The Winter Solstice. Perhaps for a moment, the typewriters will stop clicking, the wheels will stop rolling, the computers desist from computing, and a hush will fall over the city. For an instant, in the stillness, the chiming of the celestial spheres will be heard, as the earth hangs poised in the crystalline darkness and then gracefully tilts. Let there be a season when holiness is heard and the splendor of living is revealed. Stunned to stillness by beauty, we remember who we are and why we are here. There are inexplicable mysteries. We are not alone. In the universe, there moves a wild one whose gestures alter the earth's axis toward love. In the immense darkness, everything spins with joy. The cosmos enfolds us. We are caught in a web of stars, cradled in a swaying embrace, rocked by the holy night, babes of the universe. Let this be the time we wake to life, like spring wakes in the moment of winter solstice. Our opening hymn this morning is Dark of Winter, and this is just a stunningly beautiful version led by two Unitarian Universalist ministers, Reverend Kathy Ryan Starr and Reverend Dr. Sophia Bentoncourt. The hymn's lyrics reference a biblical story from 1 Kings, where God tells the prophet Elijah to stand on a mountain and that God will pass by. First, a great wind came and shattered the mountains, but God was not in the wind. After the wind came an earthquake, but God was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake, a fire, but God was not in the fire. And after the fire, the text says, a still small voice. That was the presence of God. In that spirit, let's sing Dark of Winter.
Dark of winter, soft and still, your
As a spiritual community, we journey together through life's ups and downs, and we hold each other in love. We take this time to reflect on our week, to recall the milestones, the joys, the concerns, the sorrows, the changes in our lives, and those in need of healing. If you have a heartfelt milestone, joy, or sorrow you'd like to share, you're invited to share aloud or in the chat. If you'd like to share, you can come off mute, again by pressing the mute and unmute button in the lower left corner of your screen, or by pressing *6 if you're on a phone. Please share your name and briefly express what's on your heart. If you're having trouble unmuting, give us a wave and we'll do our best to unmute you from this end. And please note that we will edit out the joys and concerns from the recording. This moment won't be shared beyond this moment and this circle. Final stone to remember and to rejoice. Let's center our hearts with a winter solstice chant. I invite you to sing along as Jacob leads the way.
Children of the earth, we have come to sing to each other, spirit to spirit, songs of our Mother Earth. Children of the earth, autumn soon will breathe her last breath, and quick will her death bear witness to winter's birth. Children of the earth, can you feel the air getting cold as darkness takes hold and sleep covers Mother Earth? Children of the earth, we have come to sit in the darkness, breathe in the silence, think of our Mother Earth.
I invite you to join me now in a time of meditation and prayer. First in words, then in some shared silence, and then in melody with Flute from Dawn. Our meditation this morning is by the poet Jan Richardson, called A Blessing for Traveling in the Dark. Go slow if you can. Slower, more slowly still. Friendly, dark, or fearsome, this is no place to break your neck by rushing, by running, by crashing into what you cannot see. Then again, it is true, different darks have different tasks. And if you have arrived here unawares, if you have come in peril or in pain, this might be no place you should dawdle. I do not know what these shadows ask of you, what they might hold that means you good or ill. It is not for me to reckon whether you should linger or you should leave. But this is what I can ask for you. That in the darkness, there be a blessing. That in the shadows, there be a welcome. That in the night, you be encompassed by the love that knows your name. Let us be together in shared silence. So may it be, and amen. Generosity is a spiritual practice in our Unitarian Universalist congregations. We give to remind ourselves how many gifts we have to offer. We give to remember that we are part of something bigger than ourselves. We give because we believe in music and sacred space. We give with the faith that together we might have enough. If you are able to give to support All Souls, you can go to the link in your order of service and the link that'll be in the chat to donate online. You can also have a sweet, mindful moment later on of writing out a check and mailing it in. However you give, in whatever form, we're grateful for your gifts. Our offertory this morning is written by John Renborn, and its lyrics are inspired by an ancient Scottish prayer called the New Moon. This morning's offering will now be gratefully received.
Praise to the moon, bright queen of the skies, jewel of the black night, the light of our eyes. Brighter than starlight, whiter than snow, look down on us in the darkness below. If well you should find us, then well let us say, be it 7 times better when you make your way. Be it 7 times better when we greet the dawn. So light up our way and keep us from all harm. Give strength to the weary, give alms to the poor, to the tainted and needy, 5 senses restore. Give song to our voices, give sight to our eyes, to see the sun bow as the full moon shall rise. Cast your eyes downward to our dwelling place, 3 times for favor and 3 times for grace. Open the dark clouds your face for to see, to banish misfortune and calamity. In the name of Our Lady, bright maiden of grace, lighting the sky as she takes the sun's place, she is casting a silvery path on the sea. All praise to the moon for eternity.
The Solstices Teach Us by David Breeden. The solstices teach us that darkness comes, that darkness goes. The solstices teach us that light comes, that light goes. The solstices teach us calmly, silently, to be calm, silent, learning. The solstices teach us as we circle the sun that everything flies. The solstices teach us to remember the dark, to remember the light, to remember time, the seasons, and love as we circle the sun.
Thank you, Maureen. There's a story in which Buddha was traveling with a small entourage of disciples. As they were passing a small pond, Buddha looked at one of his followers and asked, "Will you get me some water from the pond? I'm thirsty." The disciple walked toward the pond, but as he was about to fill up the water vessel, an ox cart came rolling through the shallows of the pond. Leaves, mud, and sticks all churned up in the water, and the disciple thought, "How can I give this muddy water to my teacher?" He returned and reported with agitation, "I'm sorry, the water is very cloudy and not fit to drink." In half an hour, the Buddha repeated his request. "But I told you," said the disciple, "that the muddy water is not good to drink." The Buddha told him to go and sit by the pond. Puzzled and frustrated, the disciple sat by the pond in a bit of a huff. As he sat and looked at the pond, hearing the sounds of the birds and the wind in the trees, his mind began to calm and his breathing began to settle into a relaxed rhythm. And as he watched, the sticks and the leaves that had gotten churned up by the cart slowly settled back down to the bottom of the pond. Before long, the disciple could see his reflection in the pond's still, clear water. He reached for the water vessel and filled it up with clean water and rushed back to the Buddha. The Buddha looked at the water and smiled as he said, "To clean the water, you let the mud settle down on its own. Your mind is also like the water. When it's agitated, it gets muddy and disturbed. But if you let it be and give it time, it will settle down on its own. And then clarity emerges. Still mind, still water." With our monthly theme at All Souls being, what does it mean to be a people of stillness? I've been thinking a lot about this muddy water parable. Many religious educators I know actually create something like this with their kids, and they call it a calm jar. It's just a jar filled with some glitter, glue, and some water or glycerin. When the kids are feeling agitated, they can shake up the jar and see the glitter swirling wildly about, kind of like a snow globe, and then watch it settle into stillness and find calm in the watching. How many of us can relate to feeling, in the words of Elvis, all shook up? I bet we all know the feeling of things swirling around in our mind. Worries, plans, obligations, decisions to be made. In other non-pandemic years, I'd say that December tends to be a swirling, hectic time for many of us. The solstice comes tomorrow, the shortest day of the year and the official start of winter. Its longest night has much to teach us about stillness, rest, and clarity. Animals prepare for winter, plants go dormant, and we humans get to remember to go slow, slower if we can. Especially in this time when so much is uncertain about how these next few months will go, it's a good time to practice stillness, to be gentle, to let things settle themselves around us. Even just yesterday, as I was driving around Braintree delivering some of the first holiday at home kits to our locals, everything felt like a metaphor for slowing down. The neighborhoods were new to me, so I crept along at like 5 miles an hour looking at house numbers, much to the displeasure of the drivers behind me. Patches of slush in the road and ice on the sidewalks reminded me to go slowly and carefully, especially when I'm still in a boot from a foot injury. I was taking slow, deliberate steps, looking not unlike a penguin. And before I knew it, the sun was going down, it being, after all, nearly the solstice. Friendly, dark, or fearsome, this is no place to break our necks by rushing, by running, by crashing into what we cannot see. Go slow. Reverend Elizabeth Buki shared this story with me, which is a beautiful reflection on going slowly in dark nights. One night at summer camp, when she was maybe 12 or 13, her counselors led them out of their sleeping bags late at night. They were camping on a high meadow away from their cabin, down by the water of the Puget Sound, and they were in their already dirty clothes. At some spot in the forest, Elizabeth's counselors had them turn off their flashlights. They were at the trailhead of their night hike. The counselors reassured the campers that the trail was distinct and clear, and that they had removed all stinging nettles, prickers, or dangers. All they had to do was follow, feeling their way. So they went, spaced out just far enough not to run into each other. Reverend Elizabeth is afraid of the dark. She says, I was one of those kids who would sometimes get into bed by doing a sort of leap from the middle of the room so I could avoid whatever might be in the darkness underneath the bed. As a child and as an adult woman, I have been taught to fear dark city streets and spaces for who might be hiding in them to harm me, told to walk home only in places that are well lighted and full of people. And that night, she continues, I was effectively alone and in the dark. And I loved it. Feeling the ferns and fir trees with her hands, having permission not to worry about getting the dark dirt all over herself, she could feel herself coming more alive. Her eyes were adjusting. She was able to see little changes in the blackness, that the darkness of a tree was slightly different than the darkness of open air. Elizabeth figured out that it made the most sense to make her way half sitting down, sometimes almost sliding down the steep path. She remembers that the dirt was cold, but not too cold, that she could feel it on her hands, kind of gritty. Reverend Elizabeth continues, the world shrank down to the next movement. I was focused on what was immediately around me, what was immediately in front of me. Not what I had done, not what might happen next. Slow, timeless, with the stars overhead. And so when the ground leveled off, Elizabeth concludes, I saw people up in front of me and the open sky and the moon over the Puget Sound, and I realized I had done it. It felt both like it had gone quickly and like I'd been in the woods for hours. Beloveds, how would it feel now to go slowly and carefully? To feel the textures of this time, maybe cold and gritty, letting the world shrink down just to our next movements. To forego dwelling in the past or the future, if only for a moment of noticing, of acknowledging where we are. How would it be to be still long enough to let whatever has been stirred up in our lives settle down and become clear? In the quiet after the storm, what might the still small voice say to you? Be gentle with yourselves and with each other. Let yourself be still enough to hear your own voice of wisdom. Let the quiet calm of winter surround you and ease your mind. And in the night, may you be encompassed by the love that knows your name. Amen. Our closing hymn is the African American spiritual Hush. I invite you to join in singing along as an invitation to listen to what is calling your name.
Hush, hush, somebody's calling my name. Hush, hush, somebody's calling my name. Hush, hush, somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do? Sounds like freedom. Somebody's calling my name. Sounds like freedom. Somebody's calling my name. Sounds like freedom. Somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do? Sounds like justice. Somebody's calling my name. Sounds like justice. Somebody's calling my name. Sounds like justice. Somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do? I'm so glad trouble don't last always. I'm so glad trouble don't last always. I'm so glad trouble don't last always. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do?
Thank you, Jacob. Our closing words are by Reverend Scott Taylor. When the winds of your daring days begin to swirl, may you find your breath. May you remember that still point inside that is always waiting to welcome you back home. And from that place of sacred peace, may you be an anchor of calm for those who need it as much as you. Go in peace, go in love. Amen. Our postlude today was recorded in my living room. It's an Emma's Revolution song, Better Days, that I think of every solstice, and I'm glad to share it with you. The lyrics are on the screen if you want to sing along. We have come in the light to this place, in the light with our hearts, in the light open wide. We are here in the light to give voice, in the light to the truth, in the light we divine. Let us sing for today. Let us learn better ways, showing love in the light, giving hope. In the light we create, in the light better days. We are born in the dark, we are fed. In the dark we connect, in the dark through the veil. We are held in the dark, we are healed. In the dark mysteries, in the dark we reveal. Let us sing for today. Let us learn better ways, showing love in the dark, giving hope. In the dark we create, in the dark better days. Time is now, we begin where we are. We begin, we have all. We begin that we need to renew. We begin to release. We begin to rebuild. We begin to believe. Let us sing for today. Let us learn better ways, showing love in the light, giving hope. In the light we create, in the light better days. Let us sing for today. Let us learn better ways, showing love in the light, giving hope. In the light we create, in the light better days, showing love in the light, giving hope. In the light we create, in the light better days. My friends, it's time for our last sacred ritual of announcements. Well, it's Christmas week, so there's some stuff going on. So you may have seen an email from Maggie early this morning. Maggie, thank you for sending that out. In the Boston area and in Quincy, it is forecasted to rain between 3 and 5 p.m. So we erring on the side of caution because we don't want that to freeze. So instead of having our outdoor service on the steps of the Quincy United First Parish Church, we're holding it online, which I hope means actually that many of you will be able to join in ways that you might not have been able to in person. So it will be right here in this Zoom room at 5:30 p.m. You're welcome to come. It's it's not the same as being outdoors together holding lanterns in the dark, but we'll do our best. Feel free to put yourself in a candlelit room if you would so like, and bring a candle to it, possibly your LED candles if you have one. Tomorrow night at 6:30 is the Board of Trustees meeting. And then Tuesday, there is just one midday meetup this week. So it's the Connection Circle at 3:30 on Tuesday because Friday is Christmas, so taking that day off. Thursday evening is our Christmas Eve service. Jacob and I have been working to put together a service that we hope feels special and lovely. A number of you are lending your voices to choir pieces, and I think it's just going to be really sweet to be together. So that's 6 o'clock on Thursday, Christmas Eve. And afterwards, when we're in person, we would normally end with Silent Night and file into the parish hall for apple cider and cookies. We invite you to BYO apple cider and cookies, or hot cocoa or tea. If you'd like to stick around after the service for a little bit of companionship, we'll have some open space to do that. You're also welcome to end the service with Silent Night and have that be the close. Either way works. And then the last thing to give you a heads up about is next Sunday's service is going to be a virtual field trip. Get ready, you're going to Frederick, Maryland. Who knew? It was like you could just, wake up one morning and be at church in Maryland. I asked for who had a service around 10:30 that would welcome our church. And the intern minister in Frederick said, I'm doing a service on Lectio Divina, which is a practice of sacred reading, and I'd love to have them. And I said, I have wanted to do Lectio Divina with these folks for a long time. I'm really excited. Okay, great. So they're delighted to welcome you. So 10:30, don't come to this Zoom room, come to the Zoom room for the church in Frederick, which will be in your email, and it's in the chimes, and it should be on the website. So go to that. And then afterwards, those who would like can come back to this one for an All Souls only-ish social hour, so you can still check in with each other. Have I missed any important announcements? Looking at Joe, okay, good, great. Friends, it is so good to be together. We'll have some time now for those who want to stick around for a social hour.